So we just got word that an RGG summit is happening on the 23rd of September at 8 p.m. Pacific time, and I am obviously very excited. So just like I did before last year's RGG summit, I'm going to be going over some theories on what I think is likely to show up in this upcoming RGG summit.
Ooh, baby, you couldn't have done a worse thing to me.
First of all, to no one's surprise, I think we are guaranteed to get a poorly translated panel discussion. My issue with these panel discussions and kind of all RGG summits is that I don't get the point of them being done live instead of having them pre-recorded. There isn't really any input from the audience or anything like that, so there's no real reason to not pre-record it and have it pre-translated instead of having some poor guys trying their best to live translate a conversation. But I mean, if you speak Japanese, I'm sure the panels offer some pretty cool stuff to you. So that out of the way, let's just get to the meat and potatoes. I think we are 100% guaranteed info on Stranger Than Heaven. It's their only announced title going into the summit, so it's very safe to assume that we're going to be seeing a lot of stuff about it. As to what exactly we're getting, that's kind of up in the air, but I personally believe we are going to be getting the Stranger Than Heaven release date that will be sometime in 2026. This is a bit of a bold prediction, but it's been 8 months since we saw the first teaser, 2 months since the title reveal trailer, so I sincerely doubt they're going to show us 3 trailers without a release date. I already know the gameplay is going to be incredible, so I'm not really too concerned if they show us more gameplay or not. I would just really like a story trailer above all else, because there were a lot of cool story teasers in the most recent trailer. If you'd like a full breakdown of that trailer, I'll leave a link to the video I made in the description, fully breaking it down with all the hidden Easter eggs and everything you need to know. I feel like after Stranger Than Heaven, we're going to get some gameplay of the Kiwami 1 and 2 ports that are going to come to the Switch 2, just showcasing the performance and things like that. I'm kind of optimistic that the port will run decent on the Switch 2. I mean, we already know Kiwami 1 Switch 2 is going to run at 60 FPS because of Yakuza 0 Director's Cut. But as for Kiwami 2, when I was playing it on the Steam Deck, I was getting anywhere around like 40 to 50 frames. So I'm assuming that hopefully if all goes well, Kiwami 2 runs at 40 FPS on the Switch 2, but it could even run further if they're really optimizing it. But even the 40 FPS is fine. That's more than serviceable for a single player story game in my opinion. So that's all the information that I think we are 100% guaranteed to get. But I doubt RGG would do a summit if they didn't have something brand new to show us. Last year was Pirate Yakuza, year before it was Infinite Wealth and The Man Who Erased His Name. So now I'm going to talk about some community speculation on some new things that could possibly show up and some things that unfortunately will not. So let's just get the bad news out of the way first. A Japanese Twitter user had met up with some RGG staff in January, and they had said that the Judgment series is pretty much wrapped up for now. Unfortunately, I really do believe this is true, because I'd called this in the last Summit prediction video that a new Judgment game is just very unlikely because of Yagami's Likeness's actors agency, who are just a really big pain to deal with apparently. So they were going as far as to not allow his likeness to show up in the Kaito Files DLC for Lost Judgment, and they were the sole reason that the Judgment PC ports took so long to get out, because they were worried about having Yagami's model available to PC modders and stuff. So it's just a big headache from what it seems, and just as a big fan of both Judgment games, I'm really sad that we won't be getting anything from Yagami again, especially because I feel like his character deserved a fleshed out send-off that he just never ended up getting. But who knows, the developers did say for now, so maybe a few years down the line we could see something, but I wouldn't keep your hopes up. So on to some of the good news. I'd firstly like to shout out at JHRhino on Twitter, I hope I pronounced that right, for catching this. But on Steam, every single Kiryu Yakuza game is currently on sale, with the exception of Yakuza 3 Remastered. This is a bit of a stretch, but I really do think it's Kiwami 3 related. Yokoyama had said in April 2024 that Kiwami 3 is something that will happen sooner or later, And to add to this, Kiwami 3 has almost become the Half-Life 3 of the Yakuza community. I mean, Kiwami 2 came out in 2018, so this marks 7 years since the last Kiwami game in the main series. And we just saw Ishin Kiwami come out 2 years ago, which was a Kiwami version of a PS4 game. So I feel like it's very due, and I am huffing the copium here, but I think it's really likely that we're going to see some Kiwami 3 in this summit. As for Yakuza 9, I feel like seeing something about it would just absolutely make my whole year, first of all, but I just don't think it's very likely. I mean, if we look at the release times of the newer Yakuza titles, Yakuza 6 came out in 2016, Yakuza 7 came out in 2020, and Yakuza 8 came out in 2024. I think it's very clear that the scope of the latest entries are making the development times take far longer than the older titles. And that's not even factoring in that Stranger Than Heaven is looking like an absolutely massive production. So I really don't think we'll see a teaser for Yakuza 9, but I would absolutely love to be proven wrong. There very well could be a new Gaiden game to come out next year, but it seems that they're pairing each Gaiden game with a title from the main series. So Man Who Erased His Name was Yakuza 7 Gaiden, and Pirate Yakuza was Yakuza 8 Gaiden. So they may stray away from this, but I think it's unlikely. And I don't think they would do a Gaiden for an older game, just because that seems like it'd be a bit confusing with release dates and stuff. So I just feel like Gaiden is kind of out of the cards, but could possibly happen. And that's about everything that you could expect going into this RGG Summit. To recap, I think we are likely going to get Stranger Than Heaven's release date sometime in 2026. Info on the Kiwami 1 and 2 Switch 2 ports, and Kiwami 3. I feel like these are very fair asks, and I'm not really expecting too much. Or we just get another Stranger Than Heaven trailer and like an hour panel, and then that's that. That could very feasibly happen. So I'd keep your expectations low. Last one, I'm not going to say it was underwhelming, but it was a bit underwhelming, especially compared to the one before it. So just keep your expectations low, and I'm sure they'll be surpassed. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video and figured out where to set your expectations. I know for a lot of people the RGG Summit is at a very inconvenient time, being at 8 p.m. Pacific time on a Tuesday. So I will be posting a recap video as soon as the event is over, and I might even do a live stream. Keep the notifications on if you're interested. But yeah, that's all from me. I'll see you guys next time. Take care. Bye-bye.